All right, y'all. Wednesday, live at lunch, doing it. Once again, coming at you from Jeremiah, book of Jeremiah, doing this Jeremiah journey. And we're talking about what? We're talking about a disgraceful death of Israel. It's outlined in this chapter early on. Jeremiah gets a warning from God. Jeremiah gets a warning from God that he shouldn't even consider connecting himself any further with these people, right? God tells him it's not worth it, right? God gives him explicit instructions on what not to do regarding these people. He says in verse 2, you shall not take a wife for yourself, nor have sons or daughters in this place. For this is what the Lord says concerning the sons and daughters born in this place, and concerning their mothers who give birth to them, and their fathers who father them in this land. They will die of deadly diseases. They will not be mourned or buried. They will be like dung on the surface of the ground, and they will perish by sword and famine, and their bodies will become food for the birds of the sky and for the animals of the earth. Don't do it. Do not enter a house of mourning or go to mourn or consider or console them. For I have withdrawn my peace from this people, declares the Lord, and my favor and my compassion. Both great people and small will die in this land. This will not be buried. They will not be buried. People will not mourn for them, nor will anyone make cuts on himself or have his head shaved for them. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to give a care about these folks. Don't get yourself involved with them. Don't do it. Don't have them here. Don't have them with you. And please don't waste your time trying to take a wife and have children among these folks. This ain't what would happen. This ain't what we're having. And so the Lord points out early in this chapter and throughout that he's going to do some things with these folks. In particular, I want you to look at this. He says, don't offer them the cup of consolation, cup of consolation. And when he says don't offer them the cup of consolation, here goes part of what he's talking about. Looking at the lower portion of what I got here, according to Easton's Bible Dictionary, the cup symbolizes a custom of partaking in the consoling of others, particularly friends and relatives in mourning. It's related to Proverbs 31:6, which says, give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy hearts. You can also check the Jewish Encyclopedia for more information on this, but that's what he's talking about. And as it says in verse 7, no one shall break bread for the mourner to comfort him for the dead, nor shall anyone give him the cup of consolation to drink for his father or mother. That's verse 7. So we've got that in the ESV. And then let me jump over here to verse 10. And it shall be when you show this people all these words, and they say, why has the Lord pronounced all this great disaster against us? Why? And what is our iniquity? What do we do? And what is our sin that we have committed against the Lord our God? God points out they're gonna question this. They're gonna be so wrapped up in their own self-righteousness, they're going to question whether they have done anything wrong. Remember, this disaster is placed on Israel. It's no surprise, right? The sin of their fathers forsaking him, right? And not keeping his law, not keeping the covenant, going to other gods, right? It's generational, and this group has done worse than their fathers, right? They've done worse than their fathers. And in verse 13, he's particular to say, he will cast them out of the land into captivity, and that's where they'll serve other gods day and night, where I will not show you favor. Where I will not show you favor. You've been getting away with it so far. You've been getting it easy so far, but when you get there, it's not going to come out the same way, right? And God says it. God says it. Verse 20. Will a man make gods for himself, which are not gods? Will you substitute God for something that isn't relational in the sense of God looking out for you, God caring for you, God choosing you? Will you substitute God for something that is not worthy? Or will you just simply say, hey man, we did wrong. How can we fix this? How can we make this right? That's what's at question here. And remember, in verse 21, God wraps things up in a very solemn sense where he says, and they shall know that my name is the Lord. When I put this upon them, they're going to know it's been my doing. When I put this upon them, they're going to know that it's something that I've done. They're going to know it's my wrath that they're facing, right? And so there's nothing, that we can say that we can actually take into our bosom and our hearts to substitute God. There's no other gods that we can go to. There's no other entity that can take care of us. It doesn't work like that. And so when we make other things into our God, when we put material gain and wealth ahead of gaining righteousness from God, we're in trouble. We're headed down a pathway that is dangerous. When we say we don't need Jehovah Shalom, we don't need Jehovah Nissi, we don't need Jehovah Jireh, we don't need God to be all these things to us, we're headed down a dangerous path. When we say, God, I'm not looking at you as my creator, I'm not looking at you as Elohim, I'm not looking at you as the self-existent one, I'm not looking at you as God the Father, I'm not looking at you as God, supreme, independent, all alone, self-existent, I'm looking for something else. That means we're looking to substitute God with something else. And what can we substitute God with? What can we do that with? And I don't see that happening. In verse 20, he's very particular about it. Will a man make gods for himself, which are not gods? And when we do that with money, when we make money our God, that's superficial. It doesn't last. It's not rewarding. And whatever benefits we get out of it are short-lived. They're futile. The relationship with God is long-lasting and endures all time. Go to Psalm 136, and it tells you that the love, the mercy of God endures forever. Look at it. Look at what happens in Psalm 136. And you tell me, when you read that psalm and you see the repetition and refrain that comes along with him saying, and his mercy endures forever, his love endures forever. When you see that, tell me, what do you have? That his faithfulness is everlasting. Tell me, what do you have beyond that? What do you have beyond that that can give you joy and peace and understanding? That's how it comes about. That's where it comes from. And so let's not look at this and say that, oh, well, I can see where they might have went astray and been all right with it. No. Look at it. There's plenty to understand here. There's plenty to dig into, because God is saying, hey, look, I've got something to offer you. I've got something to provide you with, and you're turning away from it for nothing, for emptiness, for what's void, and what will leave you in dire straits. And I looked at this from another perspective. I'm going to share this. When we abandon the covenant with God, that leaves us in a vulnerable position by which we can be abandoned by God entirely. When God says his peace is no longer with this people, being abandoned by God entirely. Well, yeah, you're going to know it's my wrath because you're going to feel it when you're dealing with these other folks. But being abandoned and left on your own to deal with the evil that you have to face in this world, that's the pain that we feel when we abandon God, right? God takes the first hit when we abandon him. But when he, in turn, says, well, since you're not going to join in, since you're not going to partake in this as we're supposed to, in this covenant, and be joined as one together, then guess what? I'm gonna let everything loose on you now. I'm gonna remove my mercy from you. I'm gonna remove my peace from you. I'm gonna remove my hedge of protection from you. Those angels that were encamped all around you, I'm gonna pull them back. And so look at it. When we abandon the covenant with God, we leave ourselves in a vulnerable position for this disgraceful death. He said they would be like dung. Like dung. Anybody understand that dung is the Old English word, right? It's an Old English word that is equivalent to saying they would be like crap. They would be like feces. They would be like waste on the ground to be eaten by the birds of the air, to be eaten by the animals of the earth. That's what they would be like. That's what they would be living like. That's what God is saying is the outcome when we fail to maintain that covenant. Don't fall into this position in your personal life with God. Give God your heart. Give God your all in all. Pay attention to where and how you walk with God. And all the things that come up against you to attack you and turn you away from God. Pay attention to that and trust and believe that God is faithful and he's powerful and he's still on the throne. God be with you. God bless. I trust and believe this is going to work for you. God help us today. Love you. God bless.